Trucks flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaining light so bright. Revving it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. Trucks flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaining life so bright. Revving it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Thrill the place, thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. In this high-octane haste, every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. All our might. Thrill the place, thrill the place, thrill the place.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here this evening from Richmond Raceway. It is our penultimate race of the season here at the HCK Beagles Truck Series, as there are 5 drivers looking to try to pick up the championship here this season. And we saw our first championship race finish last Tuesday. This is our second of 3, so penultimate race, second to last here today, and that means a little bit of extra excitement to sprinkle into the fun here this evening as qualifying quickly coming to a close, and we'll get ready to go to battle. We'll get ready to start duking it out here in just a few more moments as the green flag will get ready to be displayed in just a little bit as Kevin Winker, KW in the chat, says 2 races to go to crown a champion. Says, can we double down tonight for the number 42? Ooh, baby, that's going to be fun to see. It'd be fun to see if we could see KW get another one here in this one. Dimitri says, championship racing, let's go. Love Richmond. One of my favorite tracks. We love to hear that. We love to hear that as we'll get them ready to rock and roll. We'll get ready to go to battle as Richard Bradshaw says, let's go, boys. Number 20, my guy, Jason LePan. Number 18, Jacob Groob. Cheered on Groob and LePan here this evening. K-Dub says number 5 has an EOL and drive-through tonight. Gonna be a challenge for him. Yeah, that is a big, big tough break right there. The 5 machine, man. That is going to be a heartbreaker here this evening, as that could put you back quite a ways. I mean, make it a green flag pit stop here at Richmond Raceway. You can easily lose a couple laps, and that could trap you back there a lap or 2 laps down, especially if we see a long green flag run to start this race, or no caution flags at all. Could potentially be very, very detrimental to that number 5 right here this evening. As Dimitri Curtis says, come on, Trench, keep last week's momentum up. Cheering on Trench here this evening as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to roll as the Juke joint. Frets for Pets coming in with the shares on the stream. Kevin Winker, K-Dub coming in with that heart reaction here this evening as drivers getting loaded into the sim, each and every one of them looking for the win as we'll get them ready to be set up here in this one. As Shauna Rita says, let's go, number 42, hashtag Winker Nation. Shauna, hopefully you got to watch and enjoy that big win last night for Mr. Winker in our Monday night series, man. That was a heck of a show, heck of a run right there for Kevin Winker, and we'll see if he can try to recreate that again here this evening. And starting what was supposed to be the pole is the 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder. Unfortunately, Snyder is going to get an EOL, has to serve a pass-through penalty, and that's going to put him deep into the field here right out of the get-go. Alex Pelican will start in position number 2. It should be Jacob Group who will move up into the first position here, and we'll start in that pole spot. There we see Nick Gardner back in position number 3, the 45 of Chris Gilbert there in 4th. Brandon Deming, Zach Michael, the 20 ride of Jason LePan, the 469, that is Ryan Peterson into his outside. I do believe rounding out our top 10 will be the 87, that Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters ride of John Herbert. There we see Kevin Winker, K-Dub right there in 11th, and we should see Nathaniel Ostrowski, Tim Blankenbeckler, Kyle Van Tassel, Trench, Mr. Rob McDonald back there as well, as we did see Brad Lane and William Klein not jump out onto the racetrack to start this race, so they are going to have to fall to the rear of the field. And if K-Dub was right with the 5 ride, supposed to be getting an EOL and a drive-through, doesn't look like he's getting an EOL here in this one, as Richard Bradshaw says, I'm over here too, let's go. LePan and Group, cheered on LePan and Group here this evening. We love to see over on Facebook as well. Richard showing the love here this evening on all of the channels, as John says, oh, I did. I heard him all the way upstairs laughing loud. We love that. We love that. We love that. He was able to be a little loud there. Celebrate, enjoy that big dub as here we go. Getting ready to see the green flag fly as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as our penultimate race of the season is underway. So the penultimate race now underway as the 5 rider Nicholas Snyder leads this race. Alex Pelican there in 2nd. Jacob Group back in 3rd. Nick Gardner in 4th with Chris Gilbert, Zach Michael, Brandon Deming, our top 7 as LePan right there in position number 8. We take a look back at last night's winner, that 42 of Kevin Winker. We'll see if K-Dub can try to work his way forward here. Unfortunately, does not look so. And unfortunately, no William Klein or Brad Lane out there on the racetrack as of yet, as Alex Pelican there in 2nd. Nicholas Snyder out in front, though. Snyder continuing to lead the way here in this one. Is Snyder out in front, showing these drivers how to get it done. Just laid down the quickest lap of this race. The only driver so far here this evening to run inside the 22-second marker here. He was able to run a 21.98, so the only driver that's been able to break that 22 seconds, and it's for a good cause, as he's got to come down pit road. He's got to serve that pass-through penalty, and now we see our race leader giving up that race lead. Heads down pit side, and we're going to see him unfortunately fall way back here and potentially go a lap, maybe even 2 laps down. We'll have to wait and see where he can kind of mesh back out onto the racing surface as he heads down and through corner number 1 right here. Should be about to hit the exit of pit road right there, so he does exit pit road. There's our race leaders. Wow, he may be able to get down pit road and be able to stay on the lead lap right here. That's going to be an incredible break there for that 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder to be able to make his way down pit road, able to open up a bit of a lead there and give himself that slight advantage before coming down pit road to really set himself up for that pass-through penalty. Luckily enough, able to serve it, able to come out of it, able to stay in front of Alex Pelican and not fully lap down here. Obviously still behind the 8-ball now, a ways away. If we don't see a caution flag anytime soon, could definitely put him into a very, very tough position. But for that 5 run, he's shown some great speed. If we get a yellow flag, maybe he can battle his way back up through the field and towards the front. As Amanda Joy, Amanda says, hashtag Winker Nation as well. Hashtag Winker Nation here this evening, as we do see Ron McDonald back there he's trying to work his way forward. That beautiful Friends for Pets, the Juke joint ride, working his way up and through the field. Currently sits in that 14th position. His Friends for Pets teammate right there behind him. That is Tim Blankenbeckler. Now for these guys, they have about 10 seconds between themselves and Snyder, so they got a pretty good gap between themselves in the first car to potentially go a lap down here this evening if Snyder unfortunately starts to fall backwards. But right now he continues to run some pretty solid fast laps out there on the racetrack. But now it's going to become a big question on when do we see a caution flag? Do we see a caution flag? How long do these drivers have to roll before they got to come down pit side, make green flag pit stops, and potentially where do we start to see this tire fall off? Where do we see these drivers really have to start rolling out of the throttle, trying to keep these things just pointed in the right direction, as we're going to see the tire fall off continue to be a trend here this evening. So it's going to be in the back of their minds, lap after lap after lap. You got to take care of your equipment. You got a lot of laps left to go, a lot of racing left. You don't want to be spinning your tires, making an issue out there, and putting yourself into a bad spot early in this race, as Pelican continues to lead this one. There is Nick Gardner right in position number 2. Gardner was having such a great run last week and unfortunately did not get the finish that he was hoping for. Obviously heavy contact took him virtually out of that race at Texas after having such a strong run and strong performance, and now all of a sudden he's kind of at the back of the pack here. We did see Jacob Grube pick up that win, so Grube came into this race with about a 4-point lead. Wow, 4 points separating first and second here in that championship, and right now there's only 2 positions separating first and second. Grube rolling there in third. The 16 rider Alex Pelican out in front leading this race. Zach Michael back in position number 3 here this evening. He's not in third, but he's in third in the points. He's about 7 points behind our points leader here, our championship leader, Jacob Grube. He's about 3 points back behind Alex Pelican. Then we see Nick Snyder, who's already had that issue, have to serve that pass-through penalty, came down pit road, sits at the back of the pack right now for Snyder. He came into this race about 10 points back behind Jacob Grube for that championship lead. So a couple drivers out there, battling hard here. You see Grube and Pelican at the front of the field. We see Zach Michael. He's rolling right about now in that 7th position, trying to navigate his way up and through the traffic and towards the front, not making super quick headway here this evening. And then we see obviously Nick Gardner, that 27 ride, man, he was having such a great run, such an amazing race here last week. Virtually led the first 65 laps of that race. Jacob Grube finally got around him, and then we saw contact between him and lap traffic that sent him up and into the outside fence, which virtually it took him out of that race. He didn't run a single lap after that, and unfortunately for the 27 ride, he finished deep in the field and now has a huge deficit, about 23 points between himself and his opportunity to win this championship. So that is an absolute heartbreaker there for Nick Gardner. Heartbreaker there for him. But out in front, he's trying to battle his way up towards the front here. He's trying to keep that 18 rider Jacob Grube back there at bay, but they're all hunting Alex Pelican as Pelican continues to lead this race. Pelican out in front, showing these drivers that he's here to play, man. He is here to try to put himself up and into victory lane, as Gardner right there in second, Jacob Grube. Then we see Chris Gilbert up and into position number 4. Brandon Deming there in 5th with Jason LePan back in 6th. Zach Michael, they're one of our other championship competitors, in 7th. Ryan Peterson in 8th with Ed Gonchersberger and Nathaniel Ostrowiecki rounding out our top 10. John Herbert there in 11th with Trench Rob McDonald up and into position number 12 here on the Speedway. K-Dub Kevin Winker rolls there in 13th. 13th. Tim Blankenbeckler back in 14th with Kyle Van Tassel. They're in that 15th position, and then about 6 seconds back behind them, it is that 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder. Snyder still at the tail of the field, but he is quickly catching up to the back of the pack here, but unfortunately not really gaining any time or growing a gap between himself and our race leader Alex Pelican. And Pelican knows what's on the line, and if he can try to go up and put one of his fellow competitors here for this championship back behind him and back in behind all these lead lap drivers, and if you can make a couple more passes, put a few more cars a lap down, it could potentially keep that 5 ride trapped the lap down here for quite a while this evening. So there's so much big playoff benefits to be just pushing the subject right now. I know they want to save, they want to try to keep these tires underneath of them, but if you got an opportunity to jump up and put that 5 ride a lap down and hinder his possibility of winning this race or getting a good finish that could potentially cost you a championship, you need to take advantage of it right now. And right now for Nicholas Snyder, he knows that's the game plan. He knows that these drivers knew he had to go down, do that pass-through penalty, and to serve that, and unfortunately they're all trying to hunt him down. He's just got to try to keep hitting his marks, not make any mistakes, can't get too swept up in trying to, make too many moves or anything else. He's just got to make his way through that traffic in a quick hurry. He's got to try to keep this truck pointed the right direction. You got to keep these tires underneath of you, and you just got to hope that the cars back behind you are race leader and Pelican, Jacob Grube, Nick Gardner cannot catch you, cannot put you a lap down before a caution flag comes out. So we'll keep these guys battling. They keep on duking it out. They keep on working here this evening. As you can see, Jacob Grube up and into second here. So Grube slides into position number 2. Great run right there for him. Able to jump up into that second spot on the speedway. As, man, these guys put on a show for us, chat. These guys put on a show, put on some great racing here at Richmond Raceway. And right now is Pelican, though, that's starting to open up a bit of a lead. We'll have to wait and see if now the 18 of Jacob Grube can kind of close that gap, but it doesn't seem like he's gaining too much ground in a quick hurry, as the gap is about 1.2 seconds between first and second here this evening. So first and second separated by about 1.2 seconds, and that is growing lap by lap by lap. Is down the front straightaway, grows to about 1.3 seconds now between first and second, and Nick Gardner continues to slide farther and farther back here, potentially into the grasp of that 45 ride of Chris Gilbert and the 77 of Brandon Domingue, as they would love to jump up and move themselves farther forward in the field, trying to see if they can jump up and battle for this race lead. We'll see Jason LePan there in 6th, so LePan rolls in that 6th position out there on the racetrack. Good to see that Tech Warrior Pop Smoke 22. Number 20 ride of Jason LePan up into that 6th position, just looking for another solid run, another good race here this evening for Zach Michael, one of our playoff competitors here in that quick tie number 34 machine, the Loves ride. He's trying to work his way up towards the front here. He's trying to make some moves. He's trying to work his way past Jason LePan and some of these other drivers, but right now he is not really gaining too much ground. He's kind of just he's just kind of hanging out there in that 7th position. Really hasn't moved too far forward. Hasn't really fallen back, though, but it's kind of a spot you don't want to be. Is Mr. Bradshaw. Bradshaw coming in. This is my guy. What's good, Richard? How are you, brother? As Richard showing the love here this evening, as H-Dub also coming in with that subscribe over on YouTube. H-Dub, welcome to the Peacemaker family here today. Hitting that subscribe button, becoming part of the Peacemaker family over there on YouTube. We appreciate that, my boy. And out in front, we still see that number 16 run, Alex Pelican, leading the way here. Pelican just looks like he is absolutely a man on a mission here this evening, and now that's great news for all the Pelican fans, all the Buc-ee's fans in the chat cheering on this 16 ride. But if you're a fan of Jacob Grube, obviously going to give up some of that points lead to that 16 ride. So a little bit of a cushion that he had going into this race. Right now, it is kind of up in the air. If that 16 can get a solid win, potentially could close that gap. Could be a tight battle going into our season finale next Tuesday. For Nick Gardner, he's just trying to get everything he can out of this race, and obviously knowing that more than likely his playoff chances, his championship hopes after last week's crash have kind of went out the window. Came into this race 24 points back of our points leader, and right now still behind Jacob Grube and Alex Pelican, so really not making up any ground. And even if he wants to make up ground, he would need all four of those guys to have a very bad race for him to be able to try to gain anything here on this beautiful Tuesday evening. As Chris Gilbert reeling in that 27 right, you see Brandon Ming right there in 5th. Jason LePan, Zach Michael, and Koshersberger now into the 8th position as Ryan Peterson there in 9th. Nathaniel Ostrowiecki back in position number 10 with John Herbert. His Ridge Power Sports KR Gunners number 87 ride rolls there in 11th with Kevin Winker, K-Dub, the Winker Nation ride we saw up in Victory Lane last night in the Metalheads Truck Series. Ends up here in position number 12 as of right now. We'll see if he can use a little bit of strategy to help him out and potentially put him up and into the winner's circle here today. As we do see Tim Blankenbeckler back there in 13th. Rob McDonald, that's Trench there in position number 14. And it looks like Nicholas Snyder has worked his way around at least one driver. Kyle Van Tassel falling back to that 16th position and could potentially fall back to the first car one lap down here in a quick hurry. Our race leaders reeling in that 13 machine and quickly could be reeling in that 5 ride as well. Still some very nerve-wracking times here if you're Nicholas Snyder, knowing that potentially our race leaders could be reeling you in, could put you a lap down out there on the speedway. So you just got to keep hitting your marks, not make too many mistakes, not get caught up looking in that rear view mirror, as you do see him just barely coming out of corner number 4 right there. So down across the line, you see our race leader down this front straightaway as well. That is the gap between first and our 15th place driver on the racetrack, as it is all around the track except for that little bit of a gap right there, half a straightaway from potentially going a lap down here this evening. Definitely not a fun spot to be if you're Nicholas Snyder, hoping to see that caution flag, hoping to see something happen that can go his way, go his favor here, and try to get him back into this race. As Alex Pelican, he knows he wants to put him a lap down and wants to try to jump up here and maybe put a few more of these drivers a lap down as well. Try to trap that number 5 ride back there off the lead lap and potentially out of this race. As Jacob Grube there in 2nd, he's able to work his way around that 13 machine. Unfortunately for Kyle Van Tassel, he has went a lap down here this evening, but now for the 18 ride of Jacob Grube, he's back about 1.5, 1.6 seconds behind Alex Pelican. So Pelican, even after making the move around that number 13 ride, he was able to open up a bit more of a lead here, a bigger gap between himself and the number 18 machine. So he's definitely feeling good here today as he's out in front and looking to run away with this race as he comes down and out of corner number 2 down the back straightaway here into 3. We'll have to wait and see as if any of these drivers like to come down pit road. As there we go, down across the line, we will see 40 laps completed here this evening. So 40 laps down, 125 laps left to go. Still a lot of laps, still a lot of time for drivers to potentially run into mistakes, have problems, have to make a couple green flag pit stops. There's so many things that can go right, there's so many things that can go wrong, especially when you look at green flag pit stops. This is a tough track to get checked up, not miss that commitment cone down on pit road. You don't want to get a penalty down there. If you do get a holding penalty for speeding on pit road, or you got to do a pass-through penalty, it can put you out of this race in a heartbeat. So if you're one of our playoff competitors, you got to be absolutely picture perfect. Cannot have a problem down pit road here this evening or next Tuesday, as one mistake like that could potentially take you from a good finishing position, which may be enough to have a chance or an opportunity or capture the championship. But that one mistake could potentially take you out of the running, could potentially take you out of that championship here today. As we do see Nick Gardner, he's battling back here, trying to hang on to position number 3. There goes that 45 rider, Chris Gilbert, though, as Gilbert going to be able to make the move around him. And for Nick Gardner, he slides back into 4th, and now potentially going to slide back into that 5th position as the 77 rider, Brandon Deming, also looking to get around this 27 ride. So the Napa Auto Parts machine will fall back into that 5th spot. Such a great run last week, got a strong, did not get the finish that he was hoping for, and now has a huge deficit that he's got to try to battle back from, that he's got to try to work through and try to put himself back up towards the front of the pack. Is Alex Pelican out in front, though? He's leading this race, and he continues to ever so slightly advance himself, continues to pull away a little bit more and a little bit more from Jacob Grube, as the gap is about 1.9 seconds now between 1st and 2nd, and that is giving Alex Pelican probably a load of confidence, knowing that his truck is very strong. It is very good, and it looks like he's got this track figured out. Is nice and easy down and out of corner number 4, back down across the line. 46 laps completed here this evening, so 46 laps down. These guys still got a lot of laps here, and it's virtually, I don't even know, that's what, a quarter of the way through this race so far. Virtually just over a quarter of this race, still 3 quarters left to go, so there's a lot of time to battle back or put yourself into a position where you can come down pit road, make a green flag pit stop, and either try to work it and leapfrog some drivers, or just try to hang on to your car. Just try to keep it out of trouble. Try to keep it pointing in the right direction here as Pelican is out in front. We have seen the tire fall off about a second out there on the racetrack. So we have seen tire fall off here over the first 48 laps or so. It's roughly about a second of tire fall off, which it isn't really awful for a 50-lap run. It's not really bad, but it's not good. It's kind of right there in that middle area, and for some drivers obviously struggling a little bit more. Other drivers feeling pretty solid out there even with that tire fall off, and now we may start to see green flag pit stops as here we go. Jacob Grube, looks like Grube going to be the first tanker, head down pit sign, trying to make his green flag pit stops. We'll have to keep an eye on all these drivers, and when they come down pit road, who's going to be making some gambles, who's going to be trying to put themselves up in to victory lane here this evening. As 1 lap later, we do see Alex Pelican going to come right back down pit side as well. So Pelican also down pit road here this evening, making that pit stop. And excuse the yawning, chat, it's my bad. I'm pounding back a monster right now, but up super early last couple days. The heat is absolutely killing me working outside. It's been definitely killing me, and unfortunately that's been creating a little bit of yacht in here tonight. Hopefully we can get that cleaned up. If we get some opportunities to slosh back this Monster Energy drink, we'll get her into us, as we do see Nicholas Snyder back down pit road here himself. We do see Brandon Deming down pit road. There's Ed Koshersberger coming down pit side. Here comes Ryan Peterson, Tim Blankenbeckler, John Herbert down pit side. We do see Chris Gilbert now heads down pit road, giving up that race lead. Nick Gardner will take the race lead here. He'll at least lead a lap this evening, as he'll keep on rolling out there on the racetrack. We do see Zach Michael, he's staying out. So isn't Kevin Winker. We always see K-Dub, Mr. Winker, playing some pretty bold strategies out there on the speedway. We're also yet to see Ron McDonald, Kyle Van Tassel come down pit road, as we did see Pelican come right down pit side there on lap number 50, and he's already in front of Jacob Grube. Grube came down a lap earlier than he did, but Pelican, having that 2-second lead, was able to get a solid advantage over that 18 ride, and now you take a look at them, they're roughly pretty close right here. So actually the 18 probably either reeled in the 16 a little bit there during that cycle, or maybe just a little bit slower there for the 16 ride of Alex Pelican, knowing that he had that opportunity to kind of take his time out there on the speedways. We do see Nick Gardner now down pit road, so Gardner heads down pit side. So does entrenched as Rob McDonald also coming down pit road here. Not sure if Rob has ran out of fuel. What's happened to this 31 ride? Slow on the racetrack here, not rolling into his pit stall as of yet, and this is killing time for this 31 ride. So I'm not sure if he was too hard on the throttle, maybe did not save enough fuel, but nonetheless, it looks like he's going to slowly creep his way into the pit stall here. Hopefully he can make it. He's got only just a little bit farther to go before the crew can go to work, and now we see a caution flag fly. Yellow flag on the racetrack, and oh, brother, this is kind of how we saw it work out perfectly for Kevin Winker last night. As he's out in front, he's got that race lead, and now the yellow flag has been displayed. Is this another timely yellow flag for K-Dub, Kevin Winker? After picking up last night's win in the Metalheads Truck Series, can Winker back it up with another win here this evening? As see Ryan Peterson just come out of corner number 2 right there, loses that rear end, goes for a slide down into the inside wall. That will put us under the yellow flag for the first time here this evening, as everyone else had been down pit road. Kevin Winker, the only driver not yet to make a pit stop here this evening. Now, the only thing that's not going to help him out too much, obviously, if he could have stayed out for another 5 laps, 10 laps or something, had a major difference in tires, then it could have really helped him there. But obviously, going to have, you know, drivers like Alex Pelican, Jacob Grube, the front runners here. Some of them have about 4 or 5 laps of green flag racing on their tires. Others have only a few laps, maybe 2 or 3, or even 1 for a driver like that 55 of Zach Michael, who's able to just come down pit road before that caution flag and got blessed with that yellow as well. So we'll have to wait and see kind of how this is played out, who ends up where, and if anyone ends up potentially into a even worse position, being trapped a lap down, as it does look like potentially Ryan Peterson, Kyle Van Tassel, Rob McDonald, all could be potentially a lap down here this evening. We'll see Nicholas Snyder right there, as some of these drivers looking to get that wave around the lucky dog and everything else to get back on the lead lap, as we do see Nathaniel Osherwisky. He's looking for that wave around. So isn't the 13 rider, Kyle Van Tassel, Ed Kochersberger, Nicholas Snyder, Tim Blankenbeckler, Ryan Peterson. They're all looking for that wave around, trying to get themselves back onto the lead lap here this evening, as the other ones like Rob McDonald now a couple laps down. Tough break for him down pit road. We did see Kyle Van Tassel go a couple laps down. He'll look to try to get at least a lap back right here, and we'll see how this kind of gets played out. Is back out in front, who should consume the race lead, is this number 16, Alex Pelican. So Pelican has the race lead. In position number 2, it's Jacob Grube. In third, it's Chris Gilbert. In position number 4, it is that 77 of Brandon DeMaine. Jason LePan there in 5th with Zach Michael back in position number 6. Nick Garner there in 7th, and K-Dub Kevin Winker checking things over, wanting to make sure that he is absolutely ready to roll here this evening, as here he comes back out onto the racetrack, and he's going to be looking to try to work his way up and into victory lane, and if the cards keep falling into his hands like they have so far here this evening, could end up very, very good for him. As here we go, we do see some of the other drivers that got the wave arounds right there. They're rolling back to the rear of the field, as in front, Alex Pelican getting ready to see that green flag fly. It's nice and easy down out of corner number 4. They hit that restart zone, and here we go, back to battle here at Richmond Raceway. Is out in front, it's Alex Pelican. Pelican leads the way. Pelican nice and easy down in through corner number 1 and out of 2, as we'll look through the field and see if everyone's able to make it through there easily, as you do see one driver, that's that 469 rider, Peterson, almost got a little squirrely right there coming out of corner number 2. Luckily enough, able to catch it, able to keep that truck from going into the inside fence, but he does lose a couple positions, as we saw Nick Garner, Kevin Winker both get around him. Now we see that 14 and Nathaniel Osherwisky also around that 5 machine. As we do take a look back at drivers like Nicholas Snyder, some of these other ones, man, they don't really have too many laps on their tires, and for a driver like Snyder here, being able to get that wave around, being close on fuel and tires than a lot of the drivers around you, he's going to be feeling pretty good right now. Able to kind of battle his way back into this, and now sits in that 10th position. So from having to take a early race pass-through penalty for that 5 ride, he has definitely worked himself back into the battle here this evening. It'll be interesting to see how this one kind of gets played out, and if he's able to find his way back to the front of the field. Is Alex Pelican, though. Pelican continues to lead this race. The Bucky Celsius, number 16, right out in front. Jacob Grube in position number 2. And we see Brandon Domingue back there in 3rd. Zach Michael in 4th. Chris Gilbert back in that 5th position with Jason LePan, Nick Gardner, and now we do see one driver slideways down the front straightaway here. No caution flag as of yet as Trench goes for a bit of a slide. He's got to keep that truck rolling. Oh, baby, that was very, very close to a caution flag right there. If he would have stopped there on the racetrack, that would have for certain been a yellow flag. Luckily enough, he does keep it rolling. No caution flag on the speedway, but let's take a look back and see what happens here. As looks like potentially, let's place a little farther forward here. As out of corner number 4, looks like maybe just gets a little bit loose here. We'll take a look and see what happens here to the Friends for Pets ride as out of corner 4 just kind of gets loose. Car kind of snaps out and around on him, shoots down into the infield through that slick grass. Unfortunately, could not get it checked up. Pancakes that inside safer barrier, almost stops there on the racetrack, almost brings out a caution flag, but we're able to keep it clean and green, and we keep on battling here this evening. Unfortunately there for Mr. Trench, that is not the way he wanted his day to go here, having a pretty solid effort out there on the speedways. Out in front, though, it is that 16 run Alex Pelican. Pelican continues to lead the way as we are just over 66 laps into this race, meaning that we got virtually about 100 laps left to go, just a little under 100 laps here left in this race. As Gregory Turner, what's good, Greg? Greg coming in, showing the love, that like on the stream. How are you, Mr. Turner? Coming in, showing the love and appreciation here this evening. I appreciate that, brother, showing the love over there on Facebook. As man, some good racing, some hard racing, especially back here deeper in the field. Let's see if we can jump on board here for a lap or two with Zach Michael. Is Michael rolling right out in that 4th position? Would love to try to get around Brandon Domingue and duke it out with Pelican and Group, 2 drivers that he's battling with here in our championship 5. So let's take a look on board here with Zach Michael, see what he can see from the cockpit and how he's maneuvering around Richmond Raceway. Alrighty, there's a couple laps there with this number 34 Ryan. You see him send it deep down into corner number 1, onto the binders. Coming out of corner number 2, you gotta be nice and easy. You gotta be smooth with that throttle. You punch it, you can go around it a quick hurry. You can really lose the rear ends on corner exit here. So you just gotta slowly build up those RPMs. If you're too quick on them, that's when you get loopy out of these corners. So you just gotta be very, very cautious with your grip levels. You gotta be very cautious about how much throttle you're using out there on the racetrack and when it's time to kind of move and get rolling, trying to use some different lanes, trying to arc this racetrack. We've seen some drivers run it more like a diamond where they send it in deep down into the inside. They kind of wash up towards the middle in the middle of the corner and then cut back down the racetrack and get a big run on corner exit. So there's a lot of different lines, a lot of different styles that some competitors use here at this racetrack, especially if they start to get a little bit of open lanes here, if they start to get a little extra room out there on the racetrack. And if you're a driver like Alex Pelican, you got the race lead, you're out in front, you're showing him how to get it done. He's already opened up again another 1.5 second lead advantage. Obviously, whatever he's doing, it's working. But at the same point in time, when you're looking in that rear view mirror and you start to see some of the drivers back behind you, whether or not they're closing up on you, but they're starting to move around, sometimes it's nice to kind of try to find a couple different lanes. Try to find that extra little bit of grip. Even if you do give up another second, if you find that 18 ride starting to reel you back in, you can kind of get back into your rhythm in the line you were already using and pull back away and try something again. Because you want to kind of have something in your back pocket for later in this race. If we see a late race yellow flag, you kind of get shuffled from the control car to maybe back into 3rd or 4th. and you haven't really made too many passes on the evening, all of a sudden you get stuck in this bad position where you're just trying to find that gear, you're trying to find that momentum to be able to make some passes out there on the racetrack. So you kind of got to maybe have a little trick up your sleeve, find a big run, a big area that you can kind of work in and figure it out and use it to your advantage later in the race to maybe make a big move, and could be the difference maker between victory lane or coming home in position number 2 or 3 here this evening. As Pelican, though, out in front, showing him how to get it done. It's Jacob Grube there in second as Grube rolls in position number 2. He's got Brandon Ming, Zach Michael there in 4th, Chris Gilbert back in 5th. The 20 rider Chase Lepine rolls in 6th with Nick Gardner back in 7th. Then we see Kevin Wenker, K-Dub there in position number 8. Nicholas Snyder in 9th with Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, Ed Koshersberger, Tim Blankenbeckler, and I do believe we're going to see John Herbert, Ryan Peterson, Kyle Van Tassel, all lapped down out there on the speedway. So a tough break here for the most part for the Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters team, as we do see Herbert, Peterson, Kyle Van Tassel all down a lap or 2 here on the racetrack, and obviously not sitting exactly where they'd like to be here, not really in contention. Going to need some caution flags, potentially some waiver rounds or lucky dogs to get them back into the action here today. As out in front is Pelican, who continues to lead this race. The Pelican out in front, the rest of the room's so clean you can see yourself. Okay, look in mirror. Okay. I like that. I like that. You look in the mirror, you can definitely see yourself there at Buc-ee's. That is for certain. Now, I'm not sure. I know that Buc-ee's has like a bajillion gas pumps, and it's got everything that you can need inside the store. I haven't heard anything about the bathrooms, but I'm sure if it's as big as what Buc-ee's is, man, it's going to be a massive, massive bathroom. You're going to have a lot of mirrors in there that you could definitely see yourself in them. That is for certain. So they're not lying. That is not false advertising there by Buc-ee's. This Pelican out in front, continue to lead this race. Still has about a 1.5 second lead, 1.4 seconds between himself and Jacob Grube. Grube just kind of in cruise control, riding back here in that second spot. Know that the job's not done, but we still got another opportunity for either a green flag pit stop or potentially a yellow flag to come out here. You never know what could happen at a racetrack like Richmond Raceway. And right now, for a couple of these drivers trying to navigate their way around the track, just trying to keep themselves out of trouble. One of those being that 10 rider Tim Blankenbeckler, John Herbert there as well. Some of these guys were having pretty solid runs early in this race, but now have kind of fallen off the pace even farther back. You take a look at Rob McDonald. I'm not sure what's happened to Trench out there, but some unexpected trips down pit road, especially with that contact into the inside fence there down the front straightaway. Pretty heavy damage there for him, and that took him down pit side, where now he's virtually about, I want to say, 7-8 laps down, something like that, maybe 6 laps down out there on the racetrack. Definitely not a spot you want to be. And you're going to need an abundance of caution flags or waiver rounds to try to get yourself back into the action here this evening if you're Trench, unless you just kind of get settled in here and expect to come home here with that 16th place finish. As we were supposed to have 18 drivers start this race, unfortunately William Klein and Brad Lane did not start this race, so unfortunately they are not out there on the racetrack as of yet, as we do see K-Dub, Kevin Wenker hanging on to 9th as Jessica Annan says, let's go K-Dub, hashtag Winker Nation. Tower Operator also says hashtag Winker Nation over there on YouTube, cheering on K-Dub here this evening. As man, some pretty solid racing. One caution flag so far in this race. We are now 85 laps completed, actually 86 laps completed as our race leaders head down across the line. So already 86 laps down, we're reeling up towards lap 100, and we're reeling into that big question mark here on when do we see drivers come down pit road. Is 50 laps kind of the area? Is that the go area here, or can they make it farther on field? We did see Zach Michael come down pit road on lap 57. That's when we saw Kevin Wenker come down pit road the lap later. We saw a couple of these other drivers down pit road on lap 87. Does that give them an advantage fuel-wise, where if they're able to put 50 laps of fuel into their car right here, during the next pit stop, they could potentially make it to the end of this race, as they're going to have to come down pit road. If it goes 50 laps for a tank of fuel, maybe stretch it a little bit farther for Kevin Winker, that's going to put him somewhere around lap 110, 112. If he can make it another 52, 53 laps, he may not have to make another green flag pit stop out there on the speedway, and that could be a huge difference maker. But I think all that game plan is going to go out the window as we see our second caution flag of the day fly. Damage there onto the back end as the 45 rider Chris Gilbert runs into some issues here. Let's take a look at Chris Gilbert. What happened here as he's got Rob McDonald back behind him. He's got Brandon Ming down to his inside, and they're just going to send it into the corner right there, and it looks like maybe Trent just gets in a little too far. That's a tough break right there. Big learning experience for Rob McDonald, but let's take a look at it as we do see some pretty significant contact here down into corner number 3, as here comes that 31 just kind of lurches forward right there, not as hard onto the binders as this 45 right, and that's really all it takes to kind of mess things up here and put you into a bad position out there on the speedway. Let's see if we can get another look at it here from Trench, see what he can see from the cockpit here. He's following in behind this 45 ride, gets a great run out of corner number 2. It's peeking down low inside the 45. 45 kind of just running that outside lane coming down the racetrack. I don't think he realized that McDonald was down low, and I don't think that he was expecting him to send it in there, and I was pretty surprised myself seeing that car make that move. But for Trench, he's going to be all of a sudden back in a little bit more hot water here, back in that 16th position, bringing out a caution flag right there. Not going to help his case here this evening, but that will, again, I do believe another driver on the lead lap. I do believe Tim Blankenbeckler are going to get that wave around back on the lead lap here this evening, as we did see, obviously, some other drivers making pit stops, some drivers staying out, but really a lot of them all making these pit stops here this evening, as we did see Kevin Winker stay out here. So K-Dub, last down pit road there on lap number 58. Looks like he's going to try to stick with that schedule here this evening, not going to fonder too far from it and not put himself into a position where he races his way out of a strategy game race here this evening. So he's just trying to stay in it, trying to keep himself in contention, now having a good seat here up towards the front of the field. He's going to have Alex Pelican now back behind him in position number 2. Jacob Grube there in 3rd. Then we see Zach Michael, Nick Gardner, the 77 of Brandon Deming, that 19 run Ed Koshersberger. They were in 8th. Nathaniel Osherwisky back in position number 9. Jason LePan, they're rounding out our top 10 as Tim Blankenbeckler, Kyle Van Tassel, Ryan Peterson, John Herbert, Chris Gilbert back there in 15th. Rob McDonald now back down pit road here for Rob, and Rob, unfortunately, he is now a couple laps down and stuck back in position number 16 as Klein and Lane both get to jump out there onto the racetrack here for this feature event, as we'll get ready to set them back loose. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here, as a lot of laps down here, not a whole lot of laps left to go for our penultimate race of the season. It's going to become very, very interesting here in a quick hurry on who's going to be able to pounce, who's going to be able to make some moves and put themselves up and into the best position here today. And how does the strategy game work out for a driver like Kevin Winker or some of these other drivers? Obviously now on older tires, you should see the field virtually work away from this 42 in a quick hurry. There he is, pushing up the racetrack. Now they're going to be 2, almost 3 wide down and out of corner number 2 on the racetrack. And now you look down low and look who's finally found their way back up inside the top 5. It is that 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder. Snyder now up and into position number 4, and he'll be looking for more, knowing that there's 3 playoff competitors right here in front of him. Virtually all 5 of our 5 championship drivers right now at the front of the field. So all 5 of the championship drivers inside the top 5 having a great run out there on the speedway, as Grube, Mr. Jacob Grube, Zach Michael, Nicholas Snyder, Nick Gardner, all right there, ready to pounce, ready to make some moves here if one of these other cats in front of them slip up. is back in 6. It is Brandon Deming. Deming there in that 6th position with Ed Koschersberger, Kevin Winker there in 8th. And then we see Nathaniel Ostrowiecki and Jason LePan rounding out our top 10. But there's LePan going around, and the caution flag will come back out. So the yellow flag back out into the air here. Jason LePan running into some issues. Let's take a look and see what happens as our 3rd caution flag of the day is going to fly. Heads down the back straightaway here. So far, so good. Sends it into corner number 3. And I don't know if he was just really slowing down or what the issue was here. Nonetheless, the 45 ride not expecting it. Kind of just slides in here quickly. Can't get checked up enough. And slams into the 20 machine right there. That's where we see Jason LePan get turned around up into the outside fence. Let's see if we can get another look at it. As, man, this is a big hit right here. This was a heavy calamity for this car, and unfortunately not the way you want to see things go forward. But let's see if we can get a look on board with drawing a blank here with the next car that hit him there. That was the 45 rider, Chris Gilbert, who hit him. Let's see if we can find Gilbert. Where is he hiding here? He's a little farther ways back there, but let's see if we can jump on board here with Chris Gilbert, see what he can see here from the cockpit. As he's just going to send it in there pretty deep. And yeah, I'm not sure what happened there to Jacob Gruber. I don't know if he was trying to come down pit road or what the game plan was, but he all of a sudden was kind of way off the pace right there. Take a look at the RPMs. Yeah, right there. They're dropping dramatically here. Back up, back down. And then gets hit right there. So I'm not sure what was going wrong for the 20 ride. Nonetheless, though, losing that amount of RPMs, losing all that speed and momentum. And that's all it takes for a driver to come in from behind, make contact with you, and pretty heavy damage there for that 20 machine. As we'll get them all ready to rock and roll, as Dimitri says, oof, oof, he says. Dimitri, absolutely a big oof right there, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. The lights are still on the official iRacing pace truck, as, man, this race moving along, moving quickly here this evening. Everyone just doing a fantastic job. Only a few caution flags here, so it hasn't been too crazy, but we still got a lot of laps left to go. A lot of time for drivers to run into those problems, but we should see the lights turn off the official iRacing pace truck this time around, and we are now completing 99 laps of this race. So 99 laps are done and gone. As we get the restart here, as we go back to green flag racing, it will be 100 laps completed here this evening and 65 more laps left to go here in this race. So still a lot of time, still some time to try to navigate your way back up towards the front. No need to be too aggressive right now. No need to try to put yourself into a position where you cause some issues out there on the racetrack, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing, and you can do all the battling by trying to beat the cars around you. As Pelican getting ready to see that green flag fly, we'll get ready to jump into our Peacemaker Gaming. Crank it up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. So crank it up here today from Richmond Raceway. Alrighty, beautiful crank it up session here this evening from the beautiful Richmond Raceways, the HCK Beagles Truck Series here, duking it out, and out in front, it's still Alex Pelican, but right there in second, it is Jacob Grube. Grube once again, late in one of these races, looking at trying to take over this race lead, trying to extend his points lead here in this championship battle. Came into the race with the most points out of our championship 5, and looking to try to extend it here ever so slightly. One car back behind him in second in those point standings is that 16 run Alex Pelican. Pelican knows how much this means to keep that 18 ride back there at bay. There's very valuable playoff points that come with the win, and keeping that 18 ride back there behind him. Snyder there in third as well. He's trying to jump up towards the front of the field here, qualifying in that pole position. Had to serve a pass-through penalty early in this race. Was able to battle back, was able to race his way still onto the lead lap here, and now up and into third, and he is trying to hunt down our top two, trying to put himself into the picture here for potentially this race win. So it could be a great shootout here, unless we see this stay clean and green, which is very, very possible here with the HCK Beagles Trunk Series. We may see this stay caution-free, as we did see Kevin Winker not too long ago come down pit side. We saw him make that move again around Alex Pelican and Jacob Group, so he was able to make the pass, get himself back to only one lap down here this evening for that number 42 ride. And now for Kevin Winker, he doesn't have to make another pit stop. He is good to go here to the end of this race. Does not need to make an additional pit stop here this evening, where I do believe everybody else still has to come back down pit road at least one more time here this evening. Now, if we see this stay clean and green right now, Kevin Winker with the fresh tires, he's getting a great run and a great launch out there on the racetrack, and this could virtually leapfrog him in front of the field here. Could give him a big race lead once we see these drivers finally come down pit side, as no one's really bitten yet out of our top 9-10 drivers out there on the racetrack. We do see Kyle Van Tassel. He's back in that 13th position. He's already a lap down. Now going to go 2 laps down. He comes down pit road here, which is virtually a non-factor. I think a lot of these drivers are waiting for one of our front runners, whether it's Alex Pelican or Jacob Grube, to potentially come down pit side. As we do see Nathaniel Ostrowski, he's looking to try to take advantage of this early pit stop as well, as he makes his way down pit side. But for Pelican and Jacob Grube, Nicholas Snyder, Zach Michael, Nick Gardner, our championship 5, all sitting inside the top 5. We'll have to wait and see who makes the call, who's the first one to jump down pit lane here for what could be our final stop of the day, as here comes Brandon Ming down pit side here himself. So Domingue makes his way down pit road. We already saw Nathaniel Ostrowski down pit side. Here he comes rolling back out onto the racetrack. Now, we talked about how Kevin Winker could be leapfrogging some of these drivers. As he rolls back out there onto the racetrack, he's got a big gap here, a big advantage between him and what was our 8th place driver before these green flag pit stops, and that is Kevin Winker. We do see Brandon Ming just rolling back out here. We'll see if Domingue can work his way in front of Kevin Winker. Doesn't look like he will, but he will have a little bit better tire than that 42 ride. But for Kevin Winker, could be another big day, another great race here for that 42 ride, and try to leapfrog his way towards the front of the field here, especially if we see some issues later in this race. And now also for Kevin Winker, only 2 times he's been down pit road. Pitted there on lap number 58 during our first caution flag of the day. Just pitted there on lap 117. He's still got, I do believe, another set of tires back behind pit wall. I'm not sure if any of these other drivers have that additional set. So if these guys come down pit road right now, use 10, 20, 15, 25 laps of new tires, and he still has a set back there. If we see a late race caution flag, he's still in the lead lap, still in the action. He could use those fresh tires to his advantage to maybe jump up and win this race again. We saw it happen perfectly for him last night in our Monday night race, so we'll have to wait and see if that's the case again here this evening. Can the strategy work out perfectly for him? As there you go, you do see Grube going to move up and out of the way there for this 14 ride. That is the 14 of Nathaniel Ostrowski. Ostrowski looking to try to get himself back at least one lap down out there on the speedway, but we do see those fresher tires of Brandon Domingue able to quickly work his way around Kevin Winker. So K-Dub does slide in behind the 77 ride, so I don't think this will put him out in front, but I think this strategy still may play out for him, but he really needs the other top 7 drivers out there on the racetrack, even our top 8 and 9 drivers here this evening, to make what could be their final pit stops of the day. He needs them to start burning up some of the new tires here that could give him advantage late in this race. If they don't come down pit side here in the next little while, then it could definitely spice things up. And it's actually quite insane that we haven't seen some of our top 5 or even our top 9 out there on the racetrack make a pit stop. As of yet, they've ran now going on to about 40 laps in this run of green flag racing. If they were to come down pit road on lap number 140, completing 140 laps, they're going to only have about 25 laps left here on tires. So not a whole lot of time to use those fresh tires up. And now here we go. We do see Jacob Group. He's going to be the first one to jump down pit road. Zach Michael going to go with him here. So Jacob Group hoping that he can get a couple laps. We'll have to wait and see if Pelican decides to come down pit side this next time. We saw that the first set of green flag pit stops. Once Group came down, next time around, the 16 ride made his way down pit side. Now they got to get checked up. They can't speed down pit road. There you go. Great slide in there for the 16 ride. We'll make sure that all these drivers are able to come down pit road, get tires, get fuel, and roll back out onto the racetrack. We'll see where they line up as drivers work themselves back on the lead lap. As there goes Group back out onto the racetrack. There's Pelican just heading down into his pit stall here. Nicholas Snyder into his pit stall as well. Looks like tires going on both of these trucks, so they will get their trucks jacked up and they'll get some tires on them. As we do see Kevin Winker. It looked like Brandon Ming with fresh tires there. He was able to play the strategy a little bit better than Kevin Winker. Looks like he will leapfrog virtually everybody, including our race leaders here, to what could be the race lead. There's Kevin Winker. Winker's kind of right in the middle of it, right in the thick of it here, as there's Snyder coming in behind him. That 16 right there in front of him. Obviously, he's got a few laps older tires now and now falling back here. So, unfortunately for Kevin Winker, he will have to give up this 7th position, but he's back on the lead lap. And now, as we can see, there's still virtually about 22, 23, 24 laps left in this race. If we can see another 20 laps get clicked off the board and then potentially a caution flag, it could set up for a great run at the end of this race for that 42 ride. Get a caution flag, he's still in the lead lap, could potentially take a big run and be able to get some fresh tires onto this truck and battle back up towards the front of the field like we saw last night. For Nick Garner, though, he's kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum here. He's trying to play a little bit of a different strategy, trying to run this race a little bit longer here, hoping that he does catch that caution flag and doesn't come down pit road during this green flag. As of right now, he's got everybody except for Ryan Peterson 1 lap down on the racetrack. So if Nick Gardner sees that yellow flag fly, it could trap everyone back there a lap down, which would give him virtually the race lead, a free trip down pit road to get fresh tires and fuel, and then that would give everyone else the wave around. They would get back onto the lead lap, but man, it really would separate himself from everybody else. Now we do see Ryan Peterson down pit side. Here comes Tim Blankenbackler, Chris Gilbert down pit road here as well. And now we do see Gardner. Gardner can't wait any longer, has to make his way down pit side. It's down across the line. They will complete lap number 145. I mean, we got 20 laps left to go here in this race. So 20 more laps of racing action here this evening. Things are getting a little crazy. Things are getting a little heated up here. Obviously, a longer green flag run to potentially finish off this race could really make things that much more spicy here this evening, as Brandon DeMing should be our race leader. Now, DeMing did come down pit road around lap 130. For Jacob Group, he was down pit side on lap 138. So he's got about 8 lap better tires. And he's catching up to the 77 ride in a quick hurry. Now making his move around the 10 ride there with Tim Blankenbackler. Blankenbackler just came back onto the racetrack, so he's actually got better tires than that 18 ride. See with the 469 ride, but these guys are fast here at the front of the field, and obviously some of the lap down drivers just making the moves around him. And now you see Group putting a power move to the outside, going to slide right up and around the 77. of Brandon Ming to take this race lead away. So Ming now slides back to second as Jacob Grube out in front. About 3 cars now separating him and that 16 Alex Pelican. Pelican back here in position number 3 as of right now, but he's reeling in that 77 ride himself. And for Jacob Grube, you got 1 lap older tires than that 16 ride, so he's going to have potentially just a little bit better tire, not by much. But now that you got that clean air, you got this track, clean track in front of you, you got to try to use it to your advantage. You got to hope that you can kind of just put your throttle down, continue to pull away. There's not a lot of laps left in this race, so there's no holding back at this point. You just got to try to get everything you can and hold that 16 rider Alex Pelican back there at bay. And for Jacob Grube, he would take a chokehold here on our championship, winning the first 2 races in this championship round, sizing himself up and setting himself up for what could be a big championship run here this year, and could set himself up nicely for just having a solid run next week. May not have to win that race, may just have to come home with the top 5, maybe just the top 10, to be able to give himself the advantage and potential to pick up this championship here this year. So we'll have to wait and see if Jacob Grube late in this race can hold off Alex Pelican, can hold off Nicholas Snyder. Snyder still trying to hunt down the 77 ride. Looks like he is going to catch up to Brandon Ming and should be able to make some pretty quick work here of that 77 ride. There he goes, right on around him. Zach Michael, our 3rd place driver in the point standings here for our championship 5. He's back there in that 5th position. Kevin Winker there in 6th, as Ed Koshersberger right there behind him. Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, Nick Gardner there in 9th. Ryan Peterson back in position number 10. Now for Peterson, he is a lap down. Our race leader Jacob Grube right there in front of him, but that puts Peterson into the free pass position here if we see a late race yellow flag. And I do believe the only driver still with a set of fresh tires down pit road may be Kevin Winker. Winker may be the only driver with an extra set of tires back there on the racetrack. So if we do see a caution flag fly, that could set K-Dub up nicely again here this evening. I think if we get a yellow flag in the next couple laps, I think it could really go his way here this evening. So we'll have to wait and see kind of what happens, what's lurking in the horizon here for the Winker Nation family here this evening, as he looks to make it not only 2 wins in a row here on Peacemaker Gaming after winning last night's truck race, but apparently his 3rd win in a row in league races. Picked up his league race win Sunday night as well, not the series that we broadcast, but he was able to find victory in another series, and then obviously last night got the win. Looking for the win here tonight. Could be 3 league wins in a row for Kevin Winker, really setting the tone for that 42 ride, and he's been struggling the last little while. Nice to see him finally breaking back through, putting himself back up into victory lane and giving himself opportunities, shots, and chances to get these wins. But out in front, this 18 ride, man, Jacob Grube, he came to play last season. He made it into our championship 5. It was a 2-race series for that championship. Unfortunately for Jacob Grube, missed the first race of that championship. Obviously took him out of the championship hunt. He came out, had a great run in the season finale, but he was so many points back that no matter what he did, he was not going to be able to catch up and win that championship. So there's a heartbreaker there for that Pop Smoke 22 ride of Mr. Grube. But here this year, he didn't come to play around. He came here with a mission, and that's exactly what he's trying to do. He was able to jump up, win the race at Texas for our Championship 5 series opener here tonight at Richmond. Running up inside the top 2, top 3 all evening long, and now with the race lead here late in it, looking to try to pick up back-to-back checkered flags, trying to take that stranglehold on this championship as Grube nice and easy down and out of core number 4, back down across the line, will complete lap number 158, meaning that we only got 7 more laps left to go. So 7 more laps here for Jacob Grube to potentially go back-to-back and set himself up nicely for this championship, heading into our season finale next Tuesday. As our penultimate race about to come to a close, can that 16 ride of Alex Pelican find a little extra speed? Can he find that extra gear to try to slide up here and battle it out, duke it out here late in this race? Unfortunately for him, he hasn't been able to close that gap. He's actually continued to fall farther behind that 18 ride of Jacob Grube there on the speedway. So next week could be set up nicely for Jacob Grube. Could either be a massive heartbreak for him, or it could be an easy drive to the championship next Tuesday night as Grube out in front, 5 laps left to go. All he's just got to do is just hit his marks. He's got a second and about 3/10, so 1.3, almost 1.4 seconds separating him and Alex Pelican. He can kind of set it on cruise control even if he gives up a 10th or 2 a lap. Pelican still doesn't catch him, so he can just take it nice and easy out here on the speedway. And for Kevin Winker, unfortunately, so far no late race restarts, no caution flags here for that 42 ride. He's banking on one. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if he'll get one here this late in the night, but down and out of corner number 4 again, back down across the line. 3 more laps left to go here for Jacob Grube's group. Sitting pretty right now, man. Is Pelican back there in second. Nicholas Snyder there in third. Zach Michael back in position number 4. Brandon Ming there in 5th. Ed Konchersberger up in 6th. Kevin Winker sits in position number 7 with Nick Garner and Nathaniel Ostrowiecki right there behind him. Peterson back there in position number 10. Still the first car 1 lap down here with only 2 more laps left to go. Is John Herbert there in 11th, Tim Blankenbeckler, Kyle Van Tassel, Chris Gilbert there in 14th, Rob McDonald back in 15th, and Jason LePan off the racetrack scored in that 16th position. But out in front, down and out of corner number 4, seeing the white flag fly, it's Jacob Grube. Grube looking to go back-to-back here at our championship round. 3 races, and he's looking for win number 2 out of 2 here in this championship battle. As Grube nice and easy down the back straightaway for the final time here at Richmond Raceway. Down and out of corner number 4, he will pick up the HCK 165 checker flag here at Richmond Raceway as Jacob Grube makes it 2 for 2 here in the championship round, and he will take a chokehold of the competition heading in to our season finale as he gets the dub here tonight in our penultimate race, parking that 18 ride up and into the Richmond victory lane. He'll get ready to celebrate. He'll get ready to party hard here this evening. Obviously knowing what he was able to accomplish and set himself up for here this year. Trying to win this championship, and right now he is looking very, very strong as he'll get to celebrate. He'll get burned down the house. He's usually pretty good at this. He's usually really good. He's had a lot of practice at these burnouts, so he's going to burn down the house here this evening. The Tech Warrior Pop Smoke, number 18 ride, finds his way back up into victory lane here in the HCK Beagles Truck Series. His teammate right there, and Konchersberger, and waiting to congratulate him right there. There's that Tech Warrior 19 ride saying, man, congrats, big win right there for him as Jacob Grube gets it done. We'll get ready to pull him and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth after some pretty hard fought racing here this evening. We do see Snyder already in there. There's our race winner, Jacob Grube. Let's pull him up here into the booth. Hey, Jacob, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Aaron, I got you loud and clear, buddy.
Jacob, man, what a run, what a race. Virtually in second place for majority of this evening. Trying to battle, trying to find your way around Alex Pelican there. A few times he was able to open up some pretty sizable leads on you. Maybe just you kind of sitting in, getting settled there, not wanting to make any mistakes yourself. Until late in this race, you were right there on his back bumper. You head down pit road first. You're able to get that 1 extra lap, which gives you a bit of an advantage right there. A better pit stop, and obviously quicker coming out of the pits, and puts you out in front, right in front of that 16 ride, and he was just never able to close that gap as you were able to drive it home and put yourself back up into victory lane, making it 2 for 2 here in this championship round, setting yourself up for what could be an easy championship race next Tuesday.
Wow, yeah, thanks, Aaron. What a race. You know, it sucks to be Alex in that position because you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, because just being up there, and if he pits, I can come in and pit. So I just, I really just got lucky with the strategy there. I don't think I was going to be able to pass him on the track. So that was my only option. I didn't want to go in too early to where I had a long run on tires. So I tried to wait as long as I possibly could and just get the jump on him. So I really got lucky there, and hats off to him. It was a great race. He was really fast, and he had a good chance to win it. Just got lucky with the strategy there.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very fast ride all evening long for Alex, but unfortunately, he comes home in position number 2. You're able to pick up the win here. Now back to back, man. How does that feel knowing that you've won both these races in the first 2 races of this championship round and giving yourself what's going to be probably a fairly sizable points lead going into our season finale next Tuesday?
Yeah, it feels good. Just hard work paying off. It's been really great racing out there too. So it's fun to compete like that and racing guys really hard, and to have it come down to that was really anybody's race. It was just come down to strategy. So to win them like that is great. So I really enjoy it. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of great racing out there on the speedway. You park that 18 ride back up here into victory lane. Jacob, who would you like to thank again this evening for the checkered flag here this evening in our penultimate race?
Yeah, I just want to thank all the sponsors, and especially Pop Smoke on the truck here. Got him another win. So, and thanks to the other competitors that continue to show out and make this last couple races have at least a pretty good field and stuff. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see lots of drivers out there still battling, still giving you guys a run for your money here this evening. But Jacob, no one better than you here today as you're able to cross that checkered flag off the list here, picking up another win on the season and setting yourself up nicely for next week's season finale. And hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth, whether or not it's up in victory lane or potentially being our champion here in Season 7 of the HCK Beagles.
All right, Aaron. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night, brother. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for this 18 ride. Jacob Grew picking up the checkered flag, pulling himself up and into victory lane for back-to-back races, giving himself a great gap here going into our season finale in this championship battle. He came into this race, I do believe, about, 4 points ahead? I do believe, let me double check it here. Yeah, he had a 4-point advantage between himself and Alex Pelican coming into this race for that championship here this year. So 4 points difference here tonight. It could grow to about 8 points, 9 points. Who knows what it could be, but all we know is that it's getting bigger after Group picks up the checkered flag. Pelican comes home in position number 2. Let's see if we can get Alex up here into the booth for his post-race interview if he's still in the Discord, which I don't see him in there, so I don't think we're going to be able to get Alex Pelican into the booth. Normally he doesn't jump in here. The odd time we've been able to catch him and drag him in before he can dip out, but nonetheless, huge shout there to Mr. Pelican. Solid second place run, man. Had to be a bit of a disappointing end to this race. Obviously strong, leading the most laps here this evening. Had that 16 right out in front for a long time, and unfortunately just late in the race there, that 18 right getting the jump down pit road and then beating him out there on the racetrack and not allowing him to catch back up, and to settle in for another second place run here this evening, and now making a little bit more of a steeper run to try to win this championship here next Tuesday night. But for Pelican, great run, great race there for him. Huge congratulations to him on another great performance. Now we'll get ready to pull in our third place finisher here, the number 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder. Hey Nick, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth to get a copy.
Yes, sir.
Nick, man, great comeback here this evening. Obviously, having to make a pass-through penalty here at Richmond is never an easy thing to do. You give up so much time, and we thought for certain you were going to go a lap down out there, but you were able to qualify in that pole position. You were able to get a great jump there on the first couple of laps, open up a bit of a lead, and give yourself that extra little bit of a cushion as you made that green flag stopper or the pass-through penalty. You were able to come back out onto the racetrack, keep yourself on that lead lap. You were able to battle for a long time, even through some green flag pit stops there, and keep yourself on the lead lap. In doing so, just kept yourself in this battle. Got that caution flag, you got back into the action, and slowly but surely you navigate your way back up through the field here, and you come home with a top 3 performance. I know obviously it's not the win you were probably hoping for, but you got to be pretty happy with the comeback for that one, and now trying to gain as many points as possible, knowing that there's one race left for this championship. Going to be a tall task next Tuesday, but you're going to feel pretty proud about how you were able to handle this race here this evening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with third. Unfortunately, I just felt like I had the pace, to run with Jacob and Alex, and the whole race. Even when I served my pass through penalty, I just kind of maintained their distance. And when I wanted to run hard, I would pull away from them, but I didn't want to burn off my stuff and things, and then they would catch me. So I was just trying to play that cat and mouse game there. Once I had to serve that penalty, and honestly, I just need cautions to kind of fall a little bit quicker before green flag pit stops come in, because you got some people that run long here, and they can trap your lap down. Luckily, the guy that ran long, fortunately he had to pit, so I was looking good there, but still had to take a wave around and stuff. So to claw my way back up to third, I'm happy. I just wish I was 2 spots better.
Yeah, absolutely. Hoping to get that win, hoping to get the points that you needed after a tough race in our first race of this championship, coming home back in the 8th position after some heavy contact and issues there late in the day at Texas, and then coming here, obviously having to serve that pass-through penalty. It kind of seems like you just keep getting kind of these little setbacks here and making this championship run that much tougher and tougher and tougher for you, but you still get one more shot, one more opportunity at it. Obviously, it's going to be a tall task trying to leapfrog not only just one driver in Jacob Group for that championship, but probably going to have to try to leapfrog Alex Pelican and Zach Michael here. It's going to be a tough thing to do.
Yeah, I think I got Zach, in the points, and yeah, I think this, with Jacob winning tonight. I think he just needs to put a clean race next weekend. I don't think he has to win. I think the battle's going to be for second right now. Like I said, with Jacob winning and things, it's pretty much wrapped it up as long as you don't have a bad weekend next weekend. So yeah, it's just unfortunate what happened at Texas. Just people just overdriving with their head, knowing that cars are quicker, they just still try to battle you on old tires, and they just it's been my type of year. That year is just people always overdriving their ability, what they can handle. So we'll just keep on and go for next season.
Absolutely, brother. Well, we can't wait to see you back out there for our season finale next Tuesday night and see how it all plays out and how it works out for you there in that race. But Nicholas, here tonight, you come home in third, brother. Who would you like to thank for another strong performance and great rebound day here at Richmond?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Snyder Bees Racing, Billy Bees, my mom and dad, just everyone that supports me, in my career. So, really thank you guys.
Absolutely. Well, Nicholas, heck of a run.
No, sorry, my whole screen just went black, so I didn't know if
Oh, okay. No,
I was
no,
lagging out or not. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, no, thank you to you, as well for taking your Tuesday nights, in your time to broadcast this race, and the admins for allowing us to race on a Tuesday.
Absolutely, brother. Well, it's always my pleasure to be up here watching you guys duke it out there on the racetrack. We look forward to seeing you guys duke it out one more time here for Season 7. We'll be back up in the booth for Season 8 as well to watch you guys compete for another year. But Nicholas, man, great run, great race here tonight, brother. Hopefully we'll see you back up here in the booth one more time this season and maybe back up in victory lane for our season finale.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Nicholas Snyder. Snyder comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Heck of a run, heck of a drive there for that 5 right. Unfortunately, going home there in third, going to make a tough race for him and for a couple of these other drivers late in the season, knowing that there's only virtually one more race left to go. That's all that's left here in Season 7 of the HCK Beagles. So these drivers, they're all chasing down that 18 ride of Jacob Grube. He was able to win here tonight. He was able to win our first race of this round. Now has a good lead going into our final race of the season. And all he's going to do is just have a good, solid run and probably could come home with that championship. But we know that Pelican, Snyder, Zach Michael, all these drivers that are still in that championship, they're not going to give up. They're not going to lose hope trying to beat him and trying to pick up potentially the championship themselves. But we'll have to wait and see how that plays out next Tuesday. But we can't thank you guys enough here tonight for tuning in. Everyone coming in with the likes, the comments, the shares, man. We appreciate each and every single one of you for showing the love here this evening. As obviously a lot of great racing, a lot of great action out there, man. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and enjoying this racing action. If you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button on the stream for us. Hit that share button. Hit that follow button. And obviously, if you're watching over on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Unfortunately, though, that will do it for us here this evening. We can't thank you guys enough, though, and we will see you guys back up here in the broadcast booth tomorrow night for a little dirt track racing action as the Dirt Street Stocks back in action tomorrow night. We can't wait to see them duking it out, slicing and dicing it there, and hopefully we'll see all of you guys back up here in the grandstands cheering on our Wednesday night street fight drivers. As that'll do it for us here this evening. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.
Friends for pets! Friends for pets!
Trucks flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaining light so bright. Revving it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. Trucks flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaining life so bright. Revving it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Thrill the place, thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. In this high-octane haste, every corner, every taste leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might.